The untold story of Onam and its true significance. Mahabali, one of the greatest Asura kings. The legendary story of King Mahabali is fascinating. He was an Asura and a big devotee of Lord Vishnu. Even today, he is most popular in the beautiful state of Kerala and was greatly respected in his kingdom as he was considered to be wise, judicious, and extremely generous. Without a doubt, Kerala witnessed its golden era in the reign of King Mahabali, when everybody was happy and there was no discrimination on the basis of caste or class. It is believed that there was neither crime nor corruption. Hence, people did not even lock their doors. He was truly a great ruler who was immensely loved and respected by his people. The people were very happy and prosperous under his rule. Mahabali was the grandson of Prahlada and the son of Virochana. He was taught the Vedas by his grandfather Prahlada and later by his teacher Shukracharya. Shukracharya was a good teacher, and hence, with his help, Bali soon conquered the three worlds. Through this, Bali defeated Lord Indra, the king of the gods, and took over the heavens. Shukracharya once told him, "Bali, you have now conquered the three worlds, but if you wish to always be the lord of the three worlds, you have to perform 100 Ashwamedha Yagnas. By doing so, you will always be the king of the three worlds." Bali agreed in an instant and started making preparations for the yagna. He undertook a sankalpa or vow that whatever anybody sought from him, he would give away as charity, and he strictly adhered to it. Preparations were going on full swing. Elsewhere, Indra was lying dejected as Bali had not only defeated him but was also showing the world how a great ruler should behave. Indra sat beside his mother and told her this. Goddess Aditi looked at her son and was sad for him. As a loving and caring mother, Aditi prayed and started performing penance to invoke Lord Vishnu. Finally, the Lord appeared before Aditi. She said, "You must already know that Bali has taken over my son's kingdom." Just then, Lord Vishnu interrupted softly. "Bali is a great man and is a good devotee, and he deserves to be the Indra." Aditi said, though Bali was, without a doubt, a good king, yet there were other asuras to fit the role as well. She mentioned that the asuras could fall to their old cruel ways and go back to hurting people. Following this, Lord Vishnu looked at Aditi, asking for her wish. Aditi smiled and wished that Lord Vishnu should be born as her son to end Bali's rule. Soon, Aditi and Kashyap were the parents of a beautiful, short boy who was extremely intelligent, full of pranks, and was the darling of the house. The boy was none other than the Vamana avatar of Lord Vishnu as a dwarf. As per the customs, during the age of 5, Vamana's sacred thread ceremony was also performed, and he was sent for his education. Short in stature, but most charming to look at, the young brahmachari, Vamana, proceeded to Bali's Yagnashala with an umbrella in one hand and a kamandalu in the other. At the same time, Mahabali had performed 99 Ashwamedha Yagnas and had to perform just one more, after which he could be crowned as the king of the gods. Just when the final Ashwamedha Yagna was about to be completed, the entire kingdom saw a handsome, dark boy approach the throne. Everyone was wonderstruck at the compelling personality of Vamana, and rose from their seats to offer their salutations. Towards the boy, Mahabali felt a surge of love and got up from the throne and bowed before the boy. Mahabali said, "Sir, I am honored that you have come to my 100th Ashwamedha Yagna. I now feel that it will be a success." Meanwhile, Guru Shukracharya was looking at the boy suspiciously. Mahabali asked the boy to wish for anything he wanted. At the same moment, Shukracharya interrupted Mahabali, who turned around in surprise. Shukracharya spoke firmly. "The boy is none other than Lord Vishnu and has definitely come here on behalf of Indra." However, lost in devotion, it seemed as if Mahabali had heard only half of what his guru had said. "Lord Vishnu!" and looked like a man in a daze. He was overcome with joy as his lord has come to ask something from him. Disobeying the words of his guru, Mahabali went towards his lord with simple devotion from his heart. Nothing else mattered to him anymore. Mahabali went to the boy again, apologized, and asked him for his wishes. The dark boy looked at Mahabali quietly. "I want 3 steps of land measured by my feet." He was surprised. He had expected something big, something like his life, anything but not this. This was too simple. He almost laughed and said, "3 steps? Is that all you want? I will give that to you." The boy mentioned, "If any person cannot be satisfied by 3 steps of land, there is nothing much he can be satisfied with, Your Majesty. That is all I wish." The king said, "Anything you wish for." Just as Mahabali uttered these words, to the astonishment of all assembled there, including Bali, the dwarf Vamana grew and grew to become Trivikrama, Lord of 3 divine steps. Vamana grew so huge that from where Bali stood, he could see only the Lord's feet and nothing else. Ensuing, Vamana still kept growing so huge that he could cover the whole of earth with a single step. After that, Vamana lifted his other leg and measured up the entire skies with his next step. Mahabali stood still and astounded, watching Lord Vishnu's brilliance. Vamana called Mahabali and said, "I have measured the earth and the skies in 2 steps. I have nowhere to keep my 3rd step." Mahabali understood and smilingly offered his head as for the 3rd step of his lord. Lord Vishnu was hugely pleased and, giving a melancholy smile, kept his 3rd step on the Asura's head. Lord Vishnu asked King Mahabali for his last wish, and Bali asked Vishnu to always stay with him and give darshan. The Lord assured Bali that he himself would be there to guard and protect his kingdom, and also promised him that he would get to be Indra in another yuga. The Lord told Bali that he could visit the kingdom he had once ruled over once in a year, which is now celebrated as Onam. His wish was granted, and then Mahabali was pushed to the realm called Paatala and was removed from his splendor of being the king of the 3 worlds. Following this, Indra and the other Devas came back to the skies and were happy and grateful that they had got their kingdom back. As per the Vishnu Puran, in Chaturmas, Lord Vishnu stays in Sutalok and gives darshan to Bali Maharaj as per his wish. Significance of Onam. Bali represents a seeker who is on the spiritual path. Bali means sacrifice, a knower and performer of Karma Yoga. His sovereignty over earth and heaven indicate that he is a master of the outer world of circumstances and the inner world of thoughts and emotions. He becomes eligible for Indra Padavi, the throne of Indra. Indra means the master of all the Indriyas. To such an advanced seeker, the Guru, represented by Vamana, enters his life and inspires him to move beyond just mastering the physical, mental, and intellectual equipments. Lord Vishnu appeared as Vamana in the Shravana Nakshatra or Thiruvonam star. In the month of Bhadrapada. Shukracharya, representing the standard of living, materialism, tries to dissuade the seeker, but the seeker surrenders totally to his Guru. With the grace of the Master, he transcends his equipments, the body, the mind, and the intellect, which is represented by the Lord's 3 steps to cover the earth, space, and head. At this juncture, the Guru guides the seeker's attention within himself in contemplation, which is represented by the Lord's placing his foot on Bali's head. This is Sparsha Diksha, initiation through touch. Bali is sent down to turn the attention inwards to Sutala, the domain of auspiciousness, which is the region beyond our comprehension, the inner world of peace. The seeker turns his attention totally within and through meditation comes to discover the inner kingdom of everlasting freedom and peace. What does Onam symbolize? The bit about Mahabali coming up to the earth every year appears rather to be a folk extension to a Puranic story. Onam, which celebrates the return of Bali to the earth, is essentially a folk festival that celebrates the completion of paddy harvest. Onam is actually short for Thiruvonam, the nakshatra or the star associated with Vishnu. How is Onam celebrated in India? This 10-day festival is a joyous time for all Malayalis who welcome their king on this day. On this occasion, the just and egalitarian rule of Bali is remembered in the Malayalam folk songs that are sung to welcome the king. Aesthetically laid out flower designs in front of the house with a variety of colorful flowers evoke a sense of plenitude and prosperity, which Onam represents. Not to mention, people adorned with gold ornaments and new clothes. Every bit of the Onam celebration is a nostalgic reminder of the bygone glory of the past. The sumptuous Sadhya is followed by Kaikuttikali, Tumbitulal, and other folk performances like Kumatikali and Pulikali. Apart from the performances of folk arts and sports such as the Kathakali and the famous boat race, other folk motifs include the use of pyramid-shaped 4-sided blocks made of clay called Onatappan that are used to symbolically represent a local deity named Trikakara Appan or Vamana Vishnu. Trikakara is said to be the capital of the mighty King Mahabali, where a temple with the deity of Trikakarappan or Vamana Murti, who is Lord Vishnu himself, in disguise, is also located at this place. According to some, these pyramidical clay blocks represent Mahabali or Maveli as he is fondly referred to by the locals. This iconic representation of the gods definitely points to very ancient folk customs. Interestingly, the celebration of Bali is not restricted to Kerala. King Bali is remembered and hailed in several parts of western and southern India on the fourth day of Diwali as Bali Padyami or Bali Pratipada, marking the end of the summer harvest. In fact, the farmers of Maharashtra pray every year for the return of the fair and just rule of King Bali. So, in a sense, the annual return of Bali to earth from the netherland seems to suggest a symbolic association with the fecundity of the land that is renewed every year after the monsoons when the Onam festival falls.